and we've hit the big blue button, or at least it's blue on my screen. How are you, T.O.?
I'm great. I'm sure it's not blue on anybody's screen that's watching.
No, it's not. We're talking about HamAlert. Now, we're going to discuss what HamAlert is, how it's useful, especially for making sure that you don't miss those exclusive and elusive DX openings and stations. Elusive.
Right.
Elusive. That's the word that I'm looking for. Now, you sent me a message the other day and you said it was completely random. You were like, hey, let's do a stream on HamAlert, beginners to advanced.
Jason's fault. Jason asked me on my old HamAlert video, and I said, I know a guy.
Well,
so here we are.
I also did a HamAlert video, but mine's also more geared towards it's a bit special. It's towards 6 meters. I sort of covered a little bit of other stuff, but it was more built around about that. So I guess it makes sense that we should do a bit of a refresher video. Yeah. So if you have any questions as we go along, then put them in the chat and we'll try to answer those as we go. So thank you, Jason, for coming up with that idea. So let's bring up HamAlert. What is HamAlert?
So before we get started, did you clean all the call signs out that we're not supposed to know about before you share that screen?
Yes. Okay. Yes, I did. Let me just double check. I'll make sure that I deleted all of the special call signs. Yes, I did. Okay. HamAlert. So HamAlert is basically an app that you can download. It is on iOS and Android. And is there any other platforms that you can download it on? That's a good question.
You can use it on the web, but I don't know if you can get alerts on the web.
You can use it on the... You don't get alerts on the web, no. Destinations.
Because it's actually really easy to edit everything here as opposed to in the app.
Well, there's my phone. Don't worry, none of these details are mine. Not there. Anyway, whatever device you're on, just search for HamAlert in the App Store. Most of us are going to be iOS and Android, right? So those are the two main ones. So what it does is it pulls in all of the data from these different systems: DX Cluster, Reverse, Beacon Network, Soda Watch, Parks on the Air, PSK Reporter, the DX Cluster. So it pulls in all of the data and all of the information that's going on in real time in here, people that are spotting, people that are uploading the stations that they've worked, all of that sort of stuff. And what it does is it will send notifications to your phone to say, in a nice, readable, easy-to-see format, to say, hey, this station is on the air at this time or is planning to operate at this time. So stuff like if you're wanting to work a POTA park or a special POTA park that you haven't chased before, then you can put that POTA park in, and then anyone who actually activates that, you'll get a message that says, or a notification on your phone saying, hey, this person's here. If you want to work someone who's, like an IOTA island, someone who's on a special island that you haven't worked before for that program, then you can put that in. Someone even from a certain call sign or from a certain area. So if I wanted to work the Toads call sign, so KT0ADS.
Like right? You had trouble remembering that.
I did. If I want to work those, then I can put those in. Yeah, it's the zero that gets me.
Yeah, we put it in place of the D just to mess you up.
Yeah. So or if you can also do certain filtering as well. So if you want to work any station that's at a certain POTA park, then you can put that in, or you can filter it down even more. So say if it's only, I don't know, like if you want to work a 9 station and you only want to work him at a certain POTA park, then you can put in all filters and stuff like that. You just had YouTubers and friends in theirs. We will get to that shortly.
What's the difference, right?
So you can receive these push. So now there's different ways that you can receive these alerts. You can receive them pushed to your phone, which is in real time and probably the most simplest, quickest, and easiest. Threema, I got no idea what that is. So someone can tell me.
I think isn't Threema the service that does the SMS messaging? Because it says SMS also, but I thought there was something in there. Let me Google Threema. Let me Google that.
We don't get Threema. Well, I've never heard of Threema here.
It's a secure messenger. It's an app that does secure messaging. There you go.
James has been said, Big Jim's been blowing up my HamAlert. Thank you for being a member for 2 months, James. What was Smoking Ape's call sign again? I want to get him in my HamAlert. Well,
KT0ADS.
That is the call sign, and you'll see it shortly. Telnet. How do they push alerts through Telnet? That's interesting. I think, is that so that you can run it into your own system? I don't know. SMS or a URL get post. So there's lots of different ways that are documented. You can filter spots by various criteria. So here's all the criteria, but we're going to go into those as we set up some spots here in a moment. You can set the number of alerts in a certain period of time so you don't receive duplicate spots, because sometimes, as someone mentioned earlier, I can't remember who it was, but someone mentioned in the chat that they get alerts just hammering their HamAlert. Have you ever had that before? You get just all these call signs and messages all over the place?
Well, I get, when Josh does his Saturday night live stream over here, afterwards he'll do FT8 while he's doing the after chat, and I just had to take him out.
Yep. Ray says HamAlert's how KM9G got in my log twice. Thanks, T.O.
Aces,
so, if you want to work people. Now, the other thing is you're going to when stuff like FT8 is going to be fed into PSK Reporter. So it's going to be a lot easier if you want to work stations on FT8, because that sort of happens in real time. But people still, if you work sideband, people will still, log you in some random place, and then it will feed back into the system, and you'll get alerts for SSB as well, and CW. I've seen that too. And you can also mute alerts for a certain period, so you don't get alerts in the middle of the night like I do when all of you guys are operating. So HamAlert was created by Manuel, HP9 TQM. And there's a forum. But anyway, let's go into setting up HamAlert. So these are some things which we call triggers. The first thing that we need to discuss is that PSK sources, so FT4, FT8 spots on HF between 80 meters and 10 meters for the 30 least wanted DXCCs are currently ignored because of there's quite a big overload in the back end. That doesn't stop you from getting individual call signs on those bands. It just stops you for those DXCCs, I believe. But there's more information there if you want to read into that. So I've got a conditions here. I've got some triggers. So the first one's my call sign. So if I go in and edit this, so I've got my call sign here. So basically, I don't have any conditions. I guess conditions are sort of filters, aren't they, T.O.? So
yeah.
So all conditions must match for this trigger to be executed. So I put in my call sign and I don't have any conditions at all because I want to know when I'm being spotted on the air, sort of thing.
Every time, yeah. It's actually pretty neat to know that you are spotted. It means that everything is working. So like, don't feel like you're extra vain. Like it's a check to make sure that the system works.
Yep. So let me try and demonstrate this. So if I go, so mine's set to app. So I've got my app will be triggered. Now on PSK Reporter, I was seeing before that this is what 10 meters looks like at the moment to Australia. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go on to FT8. And you can't see that window yet, but I'll fix that. let me present my entire screen. Okay, so I'm going to go on FT8 here, and I'm just going to basically just call CQ in a free slot in there, I think. And then I missed the window. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to call CQ, and then if anyone hears me and reports me back through PSK Reporter, I'll show you the alert that I'll get when that happens. So I'm transmitting now.
We're doing this in real time.
Real time. See if anyone can copy me on 10 meters as well. So Ken says, I wait to see if my alert comes up. Actually, the other good thing about it is it's a good sanity check too, because to see that you're actually getting out as well. So if you're hearing all these stations and you're transmitting, but no one seems to be responding back to you, then you can get an alert to see if someone has responded. And here we go.
A bunch of people
Let me show that. Hey?
I said a bunch of people in the chat have gotten the alert for you.
They have. Now, this is the... I'll wait for some more alerts to pop up on the screen, and then I'll show the results of that. There we go. ETH0 just configured HamAlert for the first time and got the alert for me. Nice. Not a licensed ham yet either. Awesome. So,
soon.
James got the alert too.
You're in the right place.
So look at that. I've already got one station in the log. Now, if I bring up my thing, have a look down the bottom there. See, I've got that alert, which is W5EC with the frequency, my call sign, FT8, and then it's got the signal strength, -4 with the time.
The W5EC is the person that heard you and sent the alert to PSK Reporter, and then HamAlert picked it up off of PSK Reporter?
Yes. So the way to read that is the call sign that's always this is the way that I read it anyway. The call sign that's always last, that's displayed last in that, let me just unlock my phone, in that spot, that call sign that's displayed last in that spot, that's the call sign that has been heard.
Yep.
And the first call sign is the station that heard you. You might have it the other way around too, as well.
So DE is from, and DX is who?
Yeah. Andy, thanks for all of the great shows. Thank you, Andy. Member for 35 months.
35
Goodness
months.
Me.
He's almost been a member longer than you've been a YouTuber.
Oh, no.
You doing the chicken dance over there?
The chicken actually should get the chicken dance in the soundboard. Okay. Oh, now I know why I wasn't getting any more HamAlerts, because I wasn't transmitting. But yeah, so that gives you a bit of an example of what's going on. So let's just go back here. So I've got a couple of different triggers, and thank you to Big Jim. Fair dinkum, brilliant work. Thank you very much, Jim. 33 months. You're right up there with Andy too. Look at that.
Right.
33 to 35. Good stuff. So I've got a couple of triggers. So here's one for Adam, K6ARK, which I've got muted. I had this turned on when he was doing I think a soda summit, and I wanted to work him. So I've got that muted. So you can see here there's a pause and play button. So if I hit play on that, then all of a sudden it's not grayed out anymore, and I can receive the alerts from him. I can delete it. I can also copy it as well, or clone and then adjust it. I've got another one here for 6 meters, and I'll come back to that one later. One here for our club call as well, so I know when our club is operating. And these alerts, there's no triggers on any of these alerts. So anything with this, I'll I'll get. It's fine to do triggers on these with no conditions because they're not operating all that often. So you're not going to, you don't want to filter it down and have, well, I only want my, I mean, you might want to, but you might want to go, I only want my club when it's on a certain band or a certain mode or something like that, because then you might not get, some of the alerts. But, I mean, you might want to. But for now, I've just got it set up this way, and I don't get that many alerts for them. So it works well. Jim's got a good one. He has a trigger for anything in Antarctica. So, yeah, so that's a good example of that. Here's another one. 2 meters trans-equatorial propagation. And this one actually has a bit of a filter in it. So let's just enable this one to have a better look. So the band I want is 2 meters. And the continent is Asia, because we can have trans-equatorial propagation over 8,000 kilometers from Australia to Japan. And I want to know when that happens because it's cool. And it happens occasionally. It happened a couple of months ago. If I click edit on this, you can see here that I've selected a band, which is 2 meters, and you can select any band in here, any amateur band. You can also select the frequency range as well. Spot a call sign, spot a DXCC, so that's Australia. So in other words, anything that's heard in Australia, okay? Because it's spotter. Continent, anything that's heard in Australia from Asia. I did not want to put Oceania because if I put that, I'm going to get every single 2 meter spot within the country, and I don't want that because that's going to go bananas.
Bananas.
So... and that's simple. That's a 3-condition trigger that will tell me when everything on that particular path is open. And it works really well. It's good. Just having a look through the comments. The traveling HamAlert is the best solution for I need a park in MEAK, Hawaii, etc. Yep. Is that what you use it for? Mainly TO, or you use it for something else?
I haven't used it in a long time, and one of my problems right now is what it would tell me is that, hey, there's a person on the air that you can't work right now because you don't have an antenna set up. So I got tired of getting burned, But Mike's got a fantastic idea right here. There are a couple of places that are hard to get in the U.S. So if you're trying to work all states inside of POTA, then it's definitely a good tool for that, because it's this guy is doing a POTA in Alaska, and I need Alaska, and I'm going to stop everything I'm doing and get a station set up and work them.
G'day, Ben. Welcome in.
G'day, Ben.
Thank you. Doing well. David says, is it possible to set a trigger for stations never heard before? Yep, perfect. Sure. You'll just get a trigger when they are heard. And it doesn't necessarily need to be your call sign either. You might be after a unique or elusive station, as you'll see further down. So I've got a couple of 6 meter ones. We can come back to those later. We'll set up a spot shortly. I've got ARRL HQ in there. I've got David, the CEO of ARRL, in there. Jose K6HZR, he's in there too. There's Josh's one. There's Kyle. Kyle's in there. Radio Runner Chris, I've got him in there. He's been a very silent HamAlert. I haven't had many triggers from him.
He's been silent for a while now. He doing all right?
Yeah, he's all right. He's just got life basically in the way.
Yeah, life gets in the way.
Steve, you were in there. I had you muted because you were on the air all the time. But seeing as though you don't have an antenna, I'll put you back active again.
Nice.
So I
just wake you up in the middle of the night.
And by the way, these comment fields, you don't get an alert to do with this comment. This is just general to be able to sort through and put whatever you want in here. So KT0ADS, this is Ape's call sign and friends. That's going to trigger him now. He's going to appear in the chat at any moment, knowing that that's out there. And then I've got these other ones. So this one here, this is the reverse of that 2 meter one. So this is anything that's heard in Japan or China by that are Australian call signs, basically, because you need to do alerts both ways. You need to for transmit and receive. So you need to do alerts both ways in that situation. So let's set up an alert. What should we do here? Someone give us a scenario in the chat, and what we can do is we can demonstrate setting up an alert.
Well, you did the 2-meter transequatorial propagation.
Okay.
I was thinking, like,
how about
you told me there was a way that I could tell that I could actually potentially reach you. Like, it's one thing to hear that you're on the air, but it's another thing to hear that you're on the air and know that I actually have a chance of working you. I think there was something you said, like, if there's a from my country to your country trigger.
Yep. Okay. So say I want to work TO, and I know that TO's always on 20 meters, right? You're always on. You're on 20 meters day and night. So what I do is I leave my radio sitting on 20 meters on the FT8 frequency, for example, the FT8 frequency. I leave it running all the time, and I want to know when I'm hearing him. Okay. So what I do is I'll go in here and I'll put in call sign. And then I'll put in KM9G because that's the call sign that I want to look for. Then I'll put in a spotter call sign. So I'll put in VK78. I'll put an N symbol. VK7HH. And that's it. That's all I need to do. But I mentioned before that we want to only do it on 20 meters, okay? So I've already worked TO on 40. I've already worked you on 10. I've worked you on all of these frequencies, but I want to work you on 20. So I can come down here, add a condition. I can go band, and I can select 20 meters. Put in a comment. Work TO only on 20 meters. Hit save. And now, there we go. It's going to give me an alert. Hey?
You're not going to be the one that spots me. Or are you saying your computer's just listening and uploading the PSK reporter, so you would spot me even if you're not there?
Yes.
That's actually that's fantastic.
So that's what I do.
That's awesome.
That's what I do similar on 6 meters. Okay, so if I go back up here and I go to
So before you get too far away from that, let's break that down because I think that was pretty advanced. So what Hayden's doing is Hayden has his radio running. It's connected to his computer. It's connected to the internet. He's listening on 20 meters. And if every single time he hears every single station that comes through, he's going to upload that to PSK Reporter as a spot. It doesn't mean that he's worked that contact. It just means that he's spotting that contact, that he's heard it. And then HamAlert's going to pick that up and send him a text message that's saying, hey, Hayden, you heard Steve on your radio right now. So all Hayden has to do is go double-click on my call sign and contact is happening. That's amazing. That's deep. I wanted to make sure we unpacked that because, like, if you know, you know, but if you don't know, then that just went right over your head.
Yeah, I probably didn't explain it that well as I was rushing through it. I'll give you another example of that. I'll give you another example of that. So frequently we will have 6 meter openings to North America. Okay, let me see if there's any happening at the moment. So
besides your electric bill, it's not going to hurt your radio just to listen to FT8 all day long.
Well, you could. Your computer's probably going to draw the most amount of power, but what you can do is you can run a Raspberry Pi or something and receiver an SDR. Okay, so I'm not hearing anything on 6 meters, so I can't show you on the map. But what happens is if I come in here, I have this trigger, which is the 6 meter band. The spotter DXCC, so it's not a call sign, it's actually a country. So I can come in here and I can select any country I want in here. I've selected any country, so Australia and New Zealand. Continent. If any call sign, any station in these 2 countries, if they hear anything from Africa, Europe, North America, or South America, because I've excluded Asia because we hear Japan and China all the time. And I've excluded Australia because I don't want spots between Australia and New Zealand or Australia and Australia or New Zealand and New Zealand. I don't want those. So any of these other continents, Africa, Europe, it's actually funny because Antarctica is missing on here. But from Africa, Europe, North America, or South America, then I will get an alert. And what that's handy for is if, for instance, I don't hear any 6-meter stations on FT8 here, but they are being heard in Queensland, which is 1,500 miles or 1,000 miles north of me, I'll get an alert and I'll know, oh, yes, the 6-meter band is open to North America. So then what I can do is I can then turn my radio on and I can start listening. And you start to actually over time work out when the band's actually open. So like the band would usually be open around about maybe now in the next couple of hours. It might open up on 6 to North America. And then gradually during the day, it sort of moves over towards Europe in our evening. I could add another trigger in here and I could put in DXCC is Antarctica. So that's how I could make sure that Antarctica's in there. I'm not sure what Antarctica actually falls under the continent slot there. But yeah, that's another example of being able to monitor the entire band actually in a country and get alerts. You need to be very careful with this, though. I would not be putting this on like 80 meters or 40 meters or 20 meters or something like that because you'll get hundreds of alerts pushed through. You can limit the amount of alerts in your app. There is a setting where you can limit how many alerts you get at a certain time. So, and you could do the same for this for 10 meters. If you really want to work, South Africa, let's go and do that alert. Let me just remove this one because I know we don't need that anymore. If I go to here and we'll put in a call sign, spotter call sign is myself. And we go, well, actually, no, let's not do that. Let's do it the other way. Let's go. So say you, Tio, if you wanted to work South Africa, what we would do is we would go, if anyone in America, so we'll go spotter continent, let's go North America. Actually, no, let's not do that. Sorry, let's do it again. Do it a different way. Let's go, I want spotter country. That's what I want. Where's that? Spotter DXCC. So let's put in United States of America. And we'll go, we want DXCC. We want South Africa. And we want it on a band of 10 meters. There we go. So what would happen is if anyone in the US works South Africa or even just hears South Africa and reports it or uploads it, then on 10 meters, then you will get a spot, which is very, very handy if you want to work certain DXCCs. So you can select any of these. If you wanted to work when there's a what was that? What was the island that they went to?
Oh yeah,
in the middle of
3YJ
3Y0J. Someone in the chat will remember what the island is. I can't remember. But you could put in the IOTA reference number in here.
Bouvet.
That's it, Bouvet. There you go. So if anyone, and you could take the band out, if you wanted to work Bouvet, you could put in the reference number in there. What else can you do? You can put in POTA as well. So if let's go. What's your nearest park, Steve?
4239, I think. I'm looking it up.
Now you've changed now too, haven't you? It's US.
Yeah, it's that doesn't seem right. 2493. That doesn't seem right. That's the Minnesota version.
I wonder if they've updated this, by the way. Yes, they have. Loading park references. This is going to take a while. 42, let's just say it was 4239. North Country Trail, National Scenic Trail. So if you wanted to know when anyone was working in that park, your local park, you can find that out. Here we go. Don's got one. US 4423. And it takes such a long time because
4249 was what it was. Not 4239.
Am I supposed to only search by 4423? There we go. Spring Creek Forest State Preserve.
Nice.
So you can add, also this is cumulative, so you can add extra parks. You don't need to do one for each one. So you can select them or deselect them. What was your one, sorry?
4249.
4249. Wisconsin Interstate State Park.
Yeah. Because there's a Minnesota Interstate State Park that's directly across the river.
So you can add in parks. You could even add in a park, and you could add in other conditions. So you only want to know when people are on, like let me do my park here. We're not VK anymore. We're AU PODA, and I've got to remember what mine is. Let's have a look here. Parks on the air. Because they changed here we go. This one, 3075. So I don't think I can put in 3075 because it doesn't auto-populate on Australian parks for some reason. Or do I need to deselect that and then do AU? There we go. 3075, because we have a lot of people that go into this park, but they will operate on 2 meters. And I say I always have a 2 meter handheld at work, but I don't have 40 meters. Then I can get a trigger when someone is on the 2 meter band in this park, and I can work them. Jody says CA5082. Oh, we've got a super chat. Thank you, Jim. Cracking good. I got to bog in and bog in and have some tucker. I think he means dig in
and eat dinner.
Yeah,
but I don't know. Isn't he trying to act like he's got some Australian slang to him or something?
I think so. I was
trying to think and dance, and that doesn't happen.
Bog in means something else and doesn't mean eat. What was I doing? The 28,000 kilometer long park.
So decode that for me, because I didn't understand bog in or tucker. I thought he meant get in and have something to eat.
Yeah, well, tucker is getting in for something to eat, but bog usually means like a toilet, like sitting on the bog.
Nice. So he's going to eat dinner on the toilet. Okay. Good job, Jim.
Yeah. I think I did show an alert for a park not listed in the US. Yep. So if I want to work, let's say the 28,000 kilometer long park, I can go park reference and CA and go CA 5082. The Great Trail of Canada, National Scenic Trail. Okay, I've got that in my HamAlert now. So someone in the chat, can you please run out? Maybe Jody, can you run out and activate that park, and then we'll show live on air when when I get that alert. All right, that sounds like a good idea.
Right. Well, I bet Simon's in a park right now.
Actually, yeah. Are you actually in a? Hang on. Yeah, you don't want to go there. Thank you, Don. Jim really knows what he means.
Right. That is absolutely true.
Yeah.
I see what you did there.
Colin, we'll get to NA1SS in a second. Simon, are you in a park at the moment? Because if you are, then I'll add that in.
No, he's had a few beers.
Okay.
Couple tree beers. That's how we say it in Wisconsin. He had a couple tree beers.
Okay, so Colin, what about adding NA1SS? Let's do that. So if we go up into here and we go call sign. Actually, let me see. Full call sign includes prefixes. Okay, no, it's okay. Let's go call sign. NA1SS. And that's it. That's like literally all you have to do. The only problem with this is that is going to show you every time someone works NA1SS, which is not a good idea because you're going to get people. It's only if they're going to upload those spots somewhere. Now, most of the time, NA1SS is like packet and it's voice. So you're probably not going to get that many spots, even if you did just leave it like this. Packet, you might, if people decode the digi on board and then
can you narrow it by mode?
Upload it. I can. So you can go mode, and we can go FM. We can go
SSTV for Don. There
SSTV.
I don't see APRS though, because I want to exclude APRS in that case. Not that I don't want. I guess it's packet.
It probably is. It might come out of data.
Data.
Yeah, data.
You got to remember,
Then you can even. Oh, thank you, Darren, for becoming a YouTube member. I'm trying to look on here and see which one we haven't done yet. Oh, we haven't done TO's favorite one yet.
Windows error message. Right.
Thank you very much, Darren. We can also do time or days of the week. So
say when I'm not sleeping. Don't wake me up.
Say I'm only at home on Saturday and Sunday. I can go boom. And I could even go speed. Speed's for CW. I thought speed was physical speed.
Right.
Look, you can even do signal to noise ratio. So this is even better for, FT8 type stuff. So you can select a signal to noise ratio. So if you hear something that's way down in the noise that you don't care about. But as far as NA1SS, let's go to Spotter DXCC I'm looking for. There we go. United States of America. So you can put that in. You could also put in, do we have state? So you can put in your state. So Wisconsin.
Anybody from Wisconsin, all 6 of us.
So if anyone from Wisconsin works NA1SS on FM or SSTV on Saturday or Sunday, then you will get an alert.
Oh, county's a good question too.
County. That is a very good question. Let me take out state and I might have made a mistake there. I think it's spotter state. You should have selected instead of state. County, I don't know. I don't think so. I think now you're starting to get a little bit too deep. So yeah, I think I can do the same for Australia, and I go DXCC spotter. Nah, it's only American states. Of course, it isn't. Spotter state. No, it's only American states, yeah. So yeah, NA1SS. Now you can also do, if you go to simulate up here, You can also simulate triggers and alerts to make sure that they'll work and that they'll be sent according to what you want. So let's put in NA1SS. We don't care about frequency. Let's go mode, FM. Let's go from, I don't know.
From POTA, right.
Say someone might work NA1SS via a POTA, maybe. And let's go. Spotter was me. Comment, whatever. Oh, please fill in all required fields. Well, what's a required field? 144, 140. What's the frequency? 145, something or other.
Sure.
Spot sent. This is just to test, basically, that you're receiving spots. Oh, look, there's another 10-meter spot that I got into. That was a little bit delayed. Sometimes you'll get delayed spots come through, which is just the speed of the network.
It's a little busy.
Yeah.
Scott's saying 145.825 for ISS. Okay, awesome. Thank you, Scott.
Now, if you go into limits, here's the number of alerts that you can get. And I've got mine set to 100 per hour, which means at least I can get more than one alert per minute. But look, number of times exceeded 955 times because sometimes I've got a lot of alerts. Limit the number of alerts for the same call sign, 5 per minute. Probably could lower that down. So there's all these limits that you can set so that your phone's not pinging off all the time, especially on a busy band. Because sometimes, it does get pretty, especially if you've got a very generic condition. So say, if I've got UTO set to enabled and you're working DX on 20 meters, I'm going to get everyone that's hearing you, basically.
On FT8.
So on FT8, as an example, or sideband, if people are logging that. So you need to tread cautiously with that. But you can always come in and you can always mute it, or you can mute, notifications from the app and all that sort of stuff. Jody, sync that my O today. Thank you for the $7.72 Canadian.
Right. A Canadian telling an Australian about a Mexican holiday. Perfect.
He needs some milk.
Thank you for the $7.72. You love this sound, don't you?
I do. I miss it.
Yeah.
It was a sound that was full of wonder and intrigue. You never knew what was going to happen.
You never knew what speed you were going to get or how long it was going to take to actually download something.
And now it's just always on, and it's just a utility.
It's just boring. Grid Square, that's an interesting question.
And that is something that I don't know. DX and TO are live streaming.
Grid Square, that is a very good question. And I don't think you can. There are exclusions as well in here, so you can put in like not call signs and not prefixes and stuff. But yeah, Grid Square. I would have thought the Grid Square would have been in here. CQ zone is probably, that's not really what you want. Spotter DXCC is not really what you want. The state's not really what you want. Appears not. I think that's because FT8 you send your Grid Square if you send it on the initial
you do, yeah.
On the initial transmission. So no. There you go. That's interesting. Not Grid Square. Because I'd like to use Grid Square with radius or spotted stations that would give me high probability of hearing that station. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, that's interesting. It's not on here. Again, the data needs to be fed back into a cluster or a spotting network. So, as we said, with PSK Reporter, it's pretty easy, but everything else is sort of manual. So if someone, puts you in their log that you've worked, then it might make it back to a cluster somewhere. Or if they spot to SOTA or POTA, then they definitely will as well.
So we got some questions starred in the chat for you.
Let me bring those up. Let me get rid of some of these other ones. Oh, Lee. Thank you also, Lee. Bro, do you even HamAlert? There's one for James. Where's James? James, are you in the chat?
G'day.
Thank you very much, Lee. Appreciate that. Oops, I pressed the wrong button.
That sounded like Mickey Mouse. You get in trouble for that one.
No, it was Mario.
Just what I needed.
It's me, Mario.
Yeah. Can you specify states in the US? Yes, I think we showed that earlier. So if you scroll down in conditions, just go through the list here. WAS, worked all states, state or spotter state. So the difference here is state is if you're looking for that state. Spotter state is if the spot has come from that state. Does that make sense? Is that a good way of explaining it?
Yeah.
So if I go spotter state, then I can select any of these.
So who heard for instance, and who's talking?
Yeah. So for instance, if we, that's the wrong one. If we go call sign, if my call sign's KD9 SSB, which it is, and we go state, and I want to work, what's a rare state that no one ever works?
Alaska, or what is it, North Dakota or South Dakota?
Alaska, North Dakota, South Dakota, and let's go Hawaii, just for kicks. There you go. So this will be now my call sign. Sorry, no, I've got that wrong. I need to go spotter call sign. There we go. Spotter call sign, KD9 SSB, and with those 4 states. So what that will mean is that if I am on FT8 at any one particular time, and I'm just regularly just working stations and I don't really, I'm not paying attention or whatever, and I've got my phone, and then my phone flashes up and says, hey, you just spotted, these couple of states. Actually, I think I've got this one wrong too. I think this needs to be spotted. No, I've got that right. Hey, you've just heard a station in Alaska. And then it will show me on my phone, and then I can go back through the FT8 list. I can scroll back through here and go, okay, where was he? And I'll have the call sign on my phone, and I can go double click on him and then work him, if that makes sense. At least that's what I'd do. Can you make it sleep when I sleep?
Yeah, so Don was telling me that you can do that in your Android notifications, but I'm just wondering if you can do it in the app.
Might be under limits.
Like do not disturb.
Maybe not limits. Don't think you can. Because I always, when I'm sleeping, I always have my phone on do not disturb anyway. But the app, I don't think, gives you any extra settings to. You can basically put a mute duration, which has 10 minutes all the way up to 24 hours. So I guess you could mute.
I'd have to mute it manually every single night. That's the thing I'm trying to get away from.
So you don't have a schedule to be able to disable notifications on your Android phone?
No, because I need other notifications at night. Not just not
okay.
ham notifications at night.
Yep. No, I don't. Not on iOS. I can't see it anyway.
Yeah, and then Ken was asking about County, which is kind of an offshoot of Grid Square, because there's a Worked All Counties award in the U.S.
I don't think it had that granularity. No, I can't set a time on my
cron job, right? I'll just send it
cron job.
a post request. Use curl.
Just seeing if it's under do not disturb.
He's saying it's in under the mute section in the physical app.
Okay, so in iOS you can go into do not disturb and you can silence notifications from or allow notifications from a specific app. So you can do that in iOS if you have that. But
yeah, Don's saying you can do it in Android too.
That's something that HamAlert doesn't have sort of built in. That's chump numbers for exceeding times. Try 9,800. Yeah. I don't have that many alerts in here. There's a couple of alerts, but not that many. So any other questions?
Nope, I got them all. As far as I can tell. If not, ask again.
Any other comments? Grid squares, we spoke about that. Need to sing Where in the World is T.O.? Here's a question from Wild Hogs and Ham. What program app do you use to remote into your computers? I use Real VNC.
Yeah.
And that allows connection over local LAN or also over the internet if you got it.
Yeah, and if you sign up for their free account, you get I think 4 or 5 hosts. And what'll happen is you can memorize your home IP address, or you can publish your home IP address or whatnot, or you can make it public, or you can have it proxy through the Real VNC cloud and back down to you. And I think it's like 4 hosts they give you for free. So that's an easy way to do it where you don't have to worry about like what's my IP or did it change or did the power go out or something stupid like that.
It's probably a good idea to get a free dynamic DNS name for your IP address as well, if it changes all the time. I also use, which is a little bit more complicated, I also tunnel over SSH back home as well. So
because the internet portion of the remote controlling of the computer isn't, you don't have to worry about the non-encryption ham laws, because that's the part that's remote controlling your computer, and then your computer is unencrypted to your radio, so don't even worry about that.
Yeah, or VPN. That's the other way you can do it too.
I don't think I've tried CGNet.
Will the Bombers end up in the top 4? I don't know about that. Not in their current position. That's a Australian rules football reference. CGNet. What was the question about CGNet?
I wanted to know if Real VNC worked through CGNet, and I haven't had a chance to even try it. Now I'm usually inside my CGNet, not outside.
Yeah, no, it does work over CGNet because I've used it over mobile before, and mobile CGNet. So it has, well, at least mobile, here's CGNet. It has worked. Because, you're basically talking to a cloud-hosted service that then is talking back to your machine at home, and then that's your machine at home's talking via the cloud, and your phone's talking via the cloud. So there's no direct connection or port forwarding needed. Or buy a domain. Yeah, you can buy a domain as well. I'll ask you a question, Simon. Where do you think North Melbourne's going to finish? Mobile in the US is not CGNet, but Starlink is. Yeah, Starlink. Well, Starlink you can get, Starlink CGNet, but if you've got special business plans with Starlink, you can get real world IPs, but you have to pay through the nose for those.
Through
what was that?
Nose.
Through the. You've look at that. You've got a nice little shelf going on in the back there with the 705 and your clock.
Yep, and then that is the K-Toads ARL affiliated club certificate,
which we have in HamAlert. So every time someone operates the call, which is Ape operates the call. He operates it the most, doesn't he?
As far as I know. But it's open for anybody that's on the Discord. If you're on the Discord, you're a Toad, you're a member. And then if you do a POTA with the Toads, send it to me, and I'll upload it for logging with the POTA website.
So I can run the KT0ADS call sign stroke VK or VK stroke KT0ADS and activate it from Australia if I wanted to.
That'd be cool. Yeah.
While I'm visiting.
Right. Speaking of which, you're getting on the plane tomorrow morning, right?
I don't think so.
No.
And yeah, there's a big on that one. I don't think we're going to be above West Coast. The only team that we're going to finish above this year is Tasmania, I think, Simon, and that's because Tasmania doesn't even exist in the competition yet. Speculation on the Flex Radio announcement at Dayton. I heard that it's going to be a VHF, like a 2 meter, 70 centimeter and above unit. That's what I heard. Because like the whole of Flex is all HF stuff, and if you want to operate anything else, you need like transverters, right?
Yeah, you need to buy another radio from somebody else. Yeah. They don't want that happening.
No. So I suspected probably, I mean, this is just completely making it up on the spot, but I think that it's probably going to be it's either going to be an announcement about a replacement for an old product, because what was the old one that got discontinued last year, like the 6400 or something? One of those. It's either going to be a replacement for that, or it's going to be a competitor to the 9700. So, but it doesn't matter because I'm not going to be there for the announcement, unfortunately. So, you'll have to be the correspondent on the ground for that one, Steve.
Right,
I think.
Right.
6700, not 6400.
And then Hacks with Access asking about the X6200 modules. I think that it's got a drop-in slot on the top I know it's got a drop-in slot on the top according to the current photos, but for the transverters. But we'll see.
Now last year Kenwood dropped the announcement about the THD 75, probably T75, probably about, what was it, like a week out or something? Or was it more than a week out? Was it 2 weeks out? There was some news that
Jesse's asking
news that dropped just before Dayton. So I feel like they could maybe drop news of a new mobile radio maybe that they might be doing. But apart from that, it's all been pretty quiet. ICOM and Yaesu haven't come out with anything. But it's ICOM's 60th anniversary year this year, so I think that they'll be waiting until the Tokyo Ham Fair, and I think the Tokyo Ham Fair will be probably a big one for ICOM.
When is the Tokyo Ham Fair? Since we're already
like
5
August,
months into the year?
Like August.
So wait till the end of the year to celebrate their year. Okay.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Ken, will we have a new Kenwood mobile? Yeah, the guy from, what's his name? Don from Kenwood. He was on a live stream with Josh, and he said that there's a new radio coming. So, and he said to people, "Let us know what you want." So,
we've been talking for a long time about what we want.
I don't know about an IC705 that's 100 watts. The only problem with that is then they won't sell any 7300s or 9700s if you include 2 and 70 centimeters.
Well, those products are old. They need to be replaced.
The 7300, they announced the other day that has now sold over 100,000 units worldwide.
That just seems like such a low number.
You think?
Well, I mean, compare it to how many iPhones are sold every single year.
Yeah, but like, say, I don't know, let's estimate there's like 3 million hams, right? That means that one in every 3 hams has one?
No.
Is that
you
right?
Said 3 million on 100,000.
Did I get that wrong?
Yeah, you got that wrong.
I have got that wrong. 1 in every 30.
1 in every 30.
I don't know.
Yeah.
This is why we don't do it on stream.
Yeah, don't math on stream. Yeah.
But it'll get an upgrade eventually. They just refreshed the 7100. Have you fixed your 7100 yet?
Nice. I have not. It's funny, like I released that video on Thursday. People were like, "Are you done yet?" No. I put that away and I did like 4 other videos. I got to get back to it. What I'm going to do is I'm going to gather up all of the comments and then test all of that stuff on video and share it with everybody. And then if it's fixed at the end of that, great. And if it's not, round 3.
Very good. All right. Well, we better get off because the big man himself is starting to stream over at Ham Radio 2.0. So head over there and tell them that TO and HRDX sent you. And maybe he can reveal all about the stuff to do with Jim because we've tried several